Have you ever heard of a warrior whose legend is whispered in the winds, but whose true story remains a mystery? A figure so skilled, so elusive, that their life became a tapestry woven from myth and rumor. Today, we journey back in time to uncover the enigmatic life of a warrior known only as the Silent Blade. The first records of the Silent Blade appear in the frayed scrolls of the fallen Sunstone Empire, not as a hero, but as a shadow. Eyewitness accounts, often contradictory, describe a lone figure appearing on battlefields when all hope seemed lost. They fought not for a king or a banner, but for a purpose only they seemed to understand. One moment a desperate flank was about to collapse. The next, a dozen elite soldiers lay defeated, their lines shattered by a phantom they never saw coming. Who was this warrior? No one knew. Some said it was a disgraced nobleman seeking redemption. Others whispered it was the vengeful spirit of a forgotten dynasty. The most popular tale, however, spoke of a young orphan raised in the seclusion of the Whispering Mountains by a master who taught them to move like the wind and strike like lightning. This master, the stories say, taught not just how to fight, but how to become one with the shadows, to be unseen, unheard, until the final, decisive moment. The Silent Blade's fighting style was unlike anything seen before or since. It wasn't the brute force of a berserker or the rigid discipline of a legionnaire. It was a dancer-fluid, unpredictable art form. They wielded a single, unadorned sword, but their true weapon was the environment itself. A gust of wind to mask their approach, a glint of sunlight to blind an opponent, the echo in a canyon to create diversions. They didn't just win battles, they orchestrated them, turning an enemy's strength into their fatal weakness. One of the most famous accounts comes from the siege of Silver Creek. An army 10,000 strong was held at bay by a mere handful of defenders. For 3 days the siege held. Then, on the fourth night, something changed. The attacking general was found defeated in his own command tent, surrounded by his personal guard. All of them disarmed and bound with their own sashes. Not a single drop of blood was shed. The general claimed a ghost had passed through his ranks, a whisper in the dark that disarmed his will to fight. Left on his table was a single, perfect white feather, the Silent Blade's only known calling card. Yet, for all their battlefield prowess, the Silent Blade was never known to take a life needlessly. They were a force of balance, not destruction. Stories tell of them sparing a young soldier who showed hesitation, or even secretly leaving supplies for a village caught between warring factions. This duality is what makes their legend so compelling. Was this a warrior of peace, forced into conflict, or a master of war who chose mercy? Just as suddenly as they appeared, the Silent Blade vanished from all historical records. There was no final battle, no grand death. The whispers simply faded. Some believe they finally found peace and retired to the mountains where their journey began. Others think they simply moved on, becoming a new legend in a distant land under a different name. Perhaps the greatest trick the silent blade ever pulled was not winning impossible battles, but convincing the world they might never have existed at all. Their legacy, however, is not one of conquest or glory. It's a timeless question that echoes through history. Can a single person, guided by their own code, truly change the course of events? The silent blade proves that sometimes the most powerful force isn't an army, but a single, unwavering will, moving unseen through the chaos of the world. Their story reminds us that true strength isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the silence that speaks volumes. What do you think happened to the silent blade? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the past. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next exploration into history's greatest mysteries.